Stelios Kouloglou is a member of the European Parliament from Greece's governing Syriza party. He joins us now from Athens. Thanks very much for your time tonight. Firstly, we finally have a bailout deal that your government has accepted. When we spoke to you last time, you were adamant that Greece wouldn't accept more austerity. Has Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras been forced to compromise?
Well, you know, we were under blackmail threats and ultimatums again, and this time was more dangerous the situation because banks are closed for almost 2 weeks, and they were threatening that if we don't have an agreement, then the banks will close forever and there will be a bankruptcy. So I think the Tsipras had to make one more concession, but the program in the general lines is the same as it was when we were talking last time.
Well, you say that Greece has had to give in to blackmail, but surely Alexis Tsipras had a choice here and he chose to accept this deal. So he wasn't blackmailed, he freely accepted it, didn't he?
No, you know, according to the Guardian, he was under torture and they make him a kind of waterboarding, mentally, meaning, you know. So it's not a matter anymore of politics, you know, it's a matter of Amnesty International. You know what I'm joking, I'm joking a little bit, but this is the case. Tsipras had no any other choice but either to accept the deal or to bankrupt and exit the Eurozone. And since the majority of Greeks want to stay in the Eurozone, he has this mandate, he had no other option and neither had a plan B.
Yes, well, it sounds like you're obviously very unhappy with the deal, but it now has to be passed by the Greek Parliament before money in the form of bridging loans starts flowing into the economy again. Will your politicians approve the Prime Minister's deal?
I think the majority of the people, of the deputies will approve. Anyway, the opposition has said that it will support the deal. So the only question is how many people from deputies from Syriza party will be against. I don't think there will be so many because you know what happened yesterday with this completely unacceptable intervention and ultimatum of Mr. Schäuble, the German finance minister, who even asked to transfer 50 billion assets to a certain institution in Luxembourg he controls. That was, you know, a kind of, you know, that everybody understood that this was an effort to humiliate the government and overthrow the government and also to humiliate the country. So everybody realizes that this was the main purpose from the very beginning of Mr. Schäuble in Germany. You know, that's why they rejected every other proposal we have made. Very concrete proposals with giving the same financial results as the one creditors wanted, but they always rejected. Then they said they were using different pretexts. They said that this is the problem was Mr. Varoufakis. So Mr. Varoufakis resigned. Then the last 3 days after his resignation, they found another thing: the trust. That there is no trust. And on the basis of trust, they build it, you know, some unbelievable demands like this one. I'm telling you, and the style was very colonial, like take it or leave it. Yes. We are the bosses. You have to. And
Can I interrupt you there, Mr. Kouloglou?
Yes,
as you know, this deal, the centrepiece of this deal is this €50 billion independent fund that will be set up in Greece in order to not only repay its debts, but to also have money flow back into Greece's banks. This, of course, includes measures such as selling off Greece's private assets. Given that this deal essentially calls for more austerity and Greeks voted against more austerity in the last referendum, why should Greek politicians accept this deal if the Greek people voted against further austerity?
Because, you know, there is no other option. The other option is the bankruptcy. And so the country is not prepared to exit the Eurozone because most of the people want to stay in. And there is no other currency available at the moment, no other plan, there is no plan B. So we were hoping that the referendum and the will of the people will be respected for a moment in the European Union. Unfortunately, Europe is not like Australia, you know, where the people are voting, what they vote is the rule. Here, if you vote against the will of Berlin and Germany, then you are punished. Actually, we are facing reprisals at this moment. And this program that has been imposed is a kind of reprisal.
Yes.
It's a retaliation against the vote.
Right.
It's unbelievable, but this is the case.
And Mr. Kouloglou, you say that Greece has no choice. If Greece wants to stay in the Eurozone, they had to accept this deal. But as a result of this deal, Greece will obviously remain in the European community. Bailout money will start flowing back into the economy once again, and Greece's creditors can be confident that its loans will be repaid. Isn't this, therefore, an acceptable solution?
Well, you know, it's a vicious circle. If you cannot find one serious economist in the world who will tell you that after 6 years of recession you need more austerity. Instead, you need investments, growth, etc. But this is the dogma, the dominant dogma in the European Union, that people have to suffer and the numbers flourish, and the budget discipline is the queen of the game. Unfortunately, the rules of the democracy are not accepted. Neither logic is accepted. And you know what happened with the Greek crisis is that it's still obvious to everybody now that this eurozone cannot stay for long. It's a rotten system with no values, no solidarity, no social justice, nothing. But Greece have not, again, to take all the heat of exiting. Somebody else, a bigger country, less weakened by the sanctions and the sanctions of austerity, to take the heat. And Greece will follow. For the time being, we are obliged to stay and we are going to honor, of course, the agreement. We're going to try the best to do with some investments. There is a packet of 35 billion of Mr. Juncker we want to use and try a little bit to diminish the effects of the austerity. Okay, some interesting times ahead for Greece and the European community. Stelios, Kouloglou, thank you for your insights tonight. Thank you. Goodbye.